I really like, the two that really come to mind, A, is David Stone's bottle production, the Splash bottle. But the other one that I really like, which is in a Penguin Live lecture, is Iñaki Zabaleta's.
Oh, that one's really great.
That, I remember that fooled all of us.
Yeah,
I think it may have even fooled Dan for a minute. Hello and welcome to another Penguin Top 10 video. I'm Eric Tate, the host of the Penguin Magic Podcast, and with me today is my good buddy Nick Locapo.
What's up, Eric?
How's it going, Nick?
Still here, man.
Still here. So today we're talking about openers.
Yeah.
So I know you've performed, for those of you who don't know at home, for every Tuesday night for 7 years we had a show here at the P3 Magic Theater, and you were in...
A lot of them. Yeah,
yes,
most of them.
Most
All
of
of them?
Yeah,
Like
every one of them.
Yeah, so what I did was I went through and I keep pretty awesome notes. I've been lucky that when I started performing, I kept notes of every show that I ever did and what tricks I did and what script I... Kind of wild, but it was fun to go back and look at all the different shows and then keep tally of what were my most performed openers in the shows. I perform a lot of commercial magic. I mean, you kind of need to when you're doing a lot of different shows and you need a lot of different material, right?
You know, sometimes the stuff that we like as magicians is not always the best stuff for audiences. It's kind of funny where it's like you look at it and you're like, oh, that's kind of hack, but then really like the lay people have no idea.
Yeah, well, they love it, but you know, you need variety when you're in this type of position anyway, right? We get a lot of people that come back to the show all the time, so you want new stuff. You don't want to do the same stuff all the time, even though they like to see the same stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, so a lot of this is that. Now, there are certain things that I look for when it comes to a good opener.
Yeah, what do you look for in a good opener?
I think, for me, I really think you need to come out and do something to music. Either that's silent or speaking, you need a little bit of a backtrack to it. So the things that I look for, number one, are things that I can inject something energetic. Now again, I'm kind of a host a little bit in the show sometimes. So I'm always looking to get the crowd up a little bit. So I'm always looking to I'm not gonna come out and do something like sorrowful or like sad or
No, I can honestly say that I've never seen you come out and make an audience cry right off the bat. Yeah, you want to get that energy up, get everyone excited so that when the other performers hit, they've got some energy to come into. Yeah.
Now the other thing that I think is important, I don't like to involve the audience in the first effect. So again, a lot of these things we're going to talk about are tricks that don't involve the audience at all, can be performed in one, or if I have to use the crowd, I'm only asking a simple question or just need somebody to yell something, and that's about it. So they need to be strong and visual. If it's going to be a joke, it just needs to be followed by something surprising. Right? So I think, or the other thing that I think is really interesting is involving the entire crowd. That's another way that I might use the entire audience. So,
I already think I have an inkling of what is going to be in your top 10. Knowing that statement, but let's get into it. What is number 10?
So number 10 is, and again, this is the one that I performed the least amount at the show, but I do love this trick, and it's called, I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's called Taiwan on.
This is written up in Tangled Web.
It is written up in Tangled Web.
Is a great book. And if you can put your hands on Tangled Web, it's well worth it. But for those of us who are not as familiar with it, please tell us what Taiwan
on is. So what it is it's interesting. Number one, and this checks boxes on openers, right? Because you're coming out with these ties draped around both arms. You got 4 ties on this arm, 4 ties on this arm. And really what you're doing is having the audience select a tie. They're choosing one of these gorgeous ties on your arms. And there's a lot of fun process that happens, and it gets down to one tie. You tell the audience that that's the tie that you wanted to wear before the show. There's a joke that happens, and then you ultimately reveal that hidden under your shirt is you pull out a tie that matches the tie that the audience selected from underneath your shirt. Right? So it's interesting because you can come out to music just with some backtrack. You can talk to the audience. You can make some jokes. And it's got this nice big visual.
Yeah, right? there's something hysterical. Because I've seen you do this. And just when you're walking out and you're just draped in ties, it looks... I mean, like the audience has no idea what's about to happen.
Yeah, it's just interesting, a visual thing that's interesting when you come out, and it's, you know, the ties are just a fun, colorful thing to use, an interesting prop that nobody sees. And you can ball them up and throw them off to the side. It's a great piece that you can do in one, introduce the next act, and get on.
You know, sort of piggybacking on that is a lot of the really great work that Dan Harlan did in the Tarbell series, converting a lot of rope magic to being able to be used with neckties.
There's a lot of great tricks with ties.
You can do Taiwan on, and then your second trick can be a rope trick, but you can use props that the audience has already been introduced to, and they it's no longer a rope trick because you're using an object. I mean, it's a really solid opener that lends itself going towards a lot of different ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm really curious as to why Taiwan on is at number 10. There must be some really great stuff coming up. So let's hit me with number 9.
You want number 9? Number 9 is, man, it's one of my first openers when I was just learning stand-up magic is Silent Treatment by John Allen.
One of my all-time favorite openers too, because I do this trick as well on occasion, and it's super strong.
Yeah. Now, just like Taiwan on, when I was first getting into stand-up magic, you know, like it's hard to find a good opener that can just kind of fit for whatever. And both of these tricks, Taiwan on and Silent Treatment, are just accessible to anybody that's trying to get into doing anything stand-up.
Yeah.
So Silent Treatment, again, interesting. You're coming out with just like a board, and you don't talk, right? You don't talk at all, and you use this board to communicate with the audience. It tells the audience what to do, like, and there's jokes built into it where the person out there is going to pick a card, they name it out loud. There's jokes, you know. Again, for just getting into magic,
it comes with a script that already works, that you get performance rights to, which is so important.
Yeah.
And once you've got that figured out, because I know I do a version of Silent Treatment where I've tailored the script to really work for what I'm doing, but man, the script that comes with it is just solid.
Yeah, and now these aren't the jokes. I'm not like trashing on the jokes within this or whatever, but I think the magic community might consider some of them as like kind of played out at this point.
Yeah.
Now I've always kind of defended jokes like that because, especially with this trick, it teaches you the importance of not. Forget if the joke is good or bad or not.
Yeah.
The importance of like, oh, there needs to be a laugh here, and now I understand why. You know,
it's a well-written script that you can learn the beats
Yes.
of like where it comes up, where
Yep.
you need to bring the energy down because you're about to go into the reveal. I mean, it's a really interesting case study in script
these
writing.
jokes work.
Yeah.
People like these jokes.
Oh,
But let's get past that. I forgot we even told you what the trick is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So somebody names a card after flipping through the book, and at the end, it's revealed that the card that they named has been in your mouth the entire time. That's why you haven't been talking. So yeah, this is Silent Treatment John Allen. It's available on Penguin. It comes with a board that that helps you select the card, and comes with all the jokes. And John's a really great creator of magic.
Oh,
I mean, if you need to do an opener, it makes anybody seem clever and interesting.
Yeah.
I think is really what I took from it originally.
A very strong choice at number 9. Let's move to number 8.
So number 8 is a little different because, and again, remember, I'm taking the tricks that I did the most from all the different shows.
Yes.
Some of the shows that we did, the stage was already set a certain way. Like maybe we're going to have a close-up performer in that night.
Yes.
So that would limit me from choosing an opener like Taiwan on, where I come out and I got all this stuff.
Yeah.
Because maybe I have to stand a little too close to the stage. You know, the audience.
Yeah.
I don't want to do the trick that close because there's a giant table behind me. So in those cases, I would choose to use a trick that I could do on the table. Now, we're lucky here. We have cameras and TVs and stuff where people can see everything. So this probably doesn't fit the same credentials that I look for in an opener, because you couldn't just do this anywhere. The tricks we've talked about so far, you could do them any place. But number 8 here is a version of Storytelling Deck.
Okay, yes. I was wondering where you were going. And yeah, now your storytelling deck in particular is really good, but there's a lot of different options for storytelling deck. Because the one that probably everyone at home knows is Sam the Bellhop.
Right, yeah. So Storytelling Deck is a deck of cards that gets shuffled over and over, and you keep turning the top cards over, and you tell a story based on what the cards say.
Yes.
Now, I think for anybody, the first time you see this trick, you're destroyed.
Yeah.
It kills layman. It's one of those things like, why don't I do this trick more?
I
right?
know.
Like,
I'm actually sitting here thinking to myself, like, oh, why
don't I do this trick more?
And I particularly like your storytelling deck because it does fit in that criteria of the music because yours, like the deck, like looks like a little radio and you're like tuning it.
So like this is just an interesting trick we can talk about real quick. Is that I first thought like Sam the Bellhop wrecked me. It was one of the first tricks that I learned. And was obsessed with. And I started thinking about how I could write my own. One of the first gigs I ever did, I wrote a custom Sam the Bellhop trick for Chartreuse Liquors. I got Boston anyway. But that got me, I was, early on, it got me thinking about what if you did this with songs? That'd be cool, right?
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, other people have already gotten there, right? So that made me feel good that I was smart enough to do that. But Scott Alexander, I believe is 89, he published Card Tunes, which of course I never saw. And also Justin Flom does a fantastic routine called Card Hit Wonder. It's been all over YouTube.
Speaking of the internet going viral, there's a really great video of Willie Nelson doing a storytelling deck. I mean, that's how popular and how good this trick is.
I think it's once you see that type of trick, it kind of infects you in a way where you have to do it, right? Like you want to know how it works. Anyway. It's a great opener, especially to music, okay? Because there's a couple other card tricks that I've done like this, like McDonald's Aces, where I can kind of just put the spotlight on me and do it to music. But the storytelling deck, again, we're talking about energy. It's got all these pop songs in it and reveals, and it's just fun. Again, it makes you seem clever and interesting. It's also difficult to do, so you're really displaying a lot of skill. The audience can recognize that what we're about to see in this show is going to be awesome.
It really is a great opener, and a testament to how powerful a storytelling deck is as an opener is that when the Chicago Magic Lounge opened their close-up gallery, the opening trick was Bill Malone doing Sam the Bellhop.
That's right.
So it's not just an opening for a show; it's a great way to open a performance space. I totally see why you choose.
Yeah, and if I was doing close-up, this is the type of thing I would open with all the time. I do open with it close-up sets because the awesome thing is you can just put your phone on the table, hit the track. And go to town.
Storytelling deck is a very strong number 8. Let's move on to number 7.
So number 7 falls under the category of getting the entire audience involved.
Okay.
And this one is, man, it is just one of the best tricks. It's called, it's got 2 titles. How to Find Your Other Half, or also known as The Love Ritual by Woody Aragon.
Oh, The Love Ritual by Woody Aragon is, I was very fortunate to be a part of the team that shot Woody's hour and a half in depth on how to do the Love Ritual, which is available here at Penguin Magic, but I've seen you do the Love Ritual so many times.
Yeah, no, it's so good. So it's basically, the trick is you come out, you give the entire audience 4 playing cards, doesn't matter what they are. So everybody in the crowd is given something on the way into the theater, which is super fun. Like, just that element alone is unique and interesting for the people coming in. And this is the type of thing that you do want to either open. You want everybody to still have their cards. So you don't want everybody to lose it.
It's an opener or a closer.
Yes, I will. I am also going to do one of these videos on my favorite closers, so you should probably watch that one as well. There may be some crossover. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. Anyway,
we're just gonna retitle this whole thing because everything that you've talked about so far.
No, there are some things though that we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
No,
Watch the closers video.
Let's talk about Love Ritual.
The Love Ritual is this. Everybody's got 4 cards, and then you just go through this, long, seems like I'm saying it's bad. It's not. There's a long process of tearing cards and throwing cards away. You're making a mess. People are throwing stuff in the air. Basically, everybody gets down to 1 card, which matches a prediction that they've made themselves. It happens in the audience. It happens in their hands, and it's flabbergasting, I guess maybe is the word for them.
Yeah,
they're just wrecked.
It's really great, and if you get Woody's talk on the Love Ritual at Penguin, he includes a version that he did at 4F, the big sort of invitation only close-up convention in New York, where the 2 cards that you end up with are the wrong ones, but everyone in the audience ends up with the same wrong cards. So and he's got a prediction, so it's a magician fooler as well.
Yeah.
There's so many. I've seen so many different magicians do so many different wonderful things with the Love Ritual.
Yes.
And I think Penn and Teller like
Penn and Teller were doing this show in their show. I don't know where it was in the show, but
I don't either, but I think it like opened the second half maybe.
it makes sense. Yeah.
It was, but Penn and Teller did it. There's a magician in Spain who was touring arenas, doing it for 50,000 people at a time.
I mean, you gotta factor that into your expenses of
Yeah.
like whatever you're having them tear up. Like,
Well, just, if you're a magician at home and you're wondering what to do with your worn out decks, just keep them, because when you start playing with the love ritual and you need to do that arena with 50,000, we all know we've got 50,000 worn out decks at home.
it's audience times 4 is how many you need of the thing. I mean, it's easy to customize as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Like I've been on a lot of variety shows. One in particular I do in Key West every year. I was able to tailor this trick where they weren't playing, because it doesn't matter if they're playing cards or not. It has nothing to do with the trick. I was able to get custom, like they're almost like baseball cards printed of the variety artists on the show.
Yeah.
Right. So that was like super cool. People come into the show, they're given these. What are these? These are cool, right? And then I come out as the host, get everybody excited. We do this cool thing where we're making a mess, and then you get blown away by an awesome trick. So it's just a killer way to start the show.
I think we could easily spend an entirely
wait.
different, top 10 on like all the great points of the love ritual. But let's move on. This can't be a 10-hour
10 hours on the love
ritual.
ritual.
Hit me with number 6.
6 is it's kind of a mashup of different tricks, and that's because 6 is the bottle production.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The bottle production.
I've done them, you've done them.
Everybody's done them.
Everyone's done them, but
Right.
they're really great. They're super surprising.
Yeah, it's a great. I mean, I feel like in the world of magic, and if you're a magician out there watching this is just one of those things that there's 200 ways to do it, 300 ways to do it. I'm not, and it kind of depends on who you are.
Yeah, and what bottle you're going to produce, the situation you're going to be
Does
in.
it have liquid in it? Is it a bottle? Is it a real bottle? Is a bottle filled with liquid? Does it have no liquid? There's so many different things to consider when it comes to the bottle production.
I know that I really like, the two that really come to mind, A, is David Stone's bottle production, the splash bottle. But the other one that I really like, which is in a Penguin Live lecture, is Iñaki Zabaleta's.
Oh, that one's really great.
I remember that fooled all of us. I think it
that's
may have even fooled Dan for a minute.
No, and the other, there's that, and then the other one that we, and I got stuff to talk about with this, but
yep.
we can go down this rabbit hole too.
Yeah.
Reynold Alexander had an amazing idea on the bottle production and his Penguin Live act as well, which if you haven't seen it,
I don't think I've seen Reynolds, but
you need to see that.
The other one that I really like, which is a production, but then it turns out to be like the finale of the show, is Nathan Fans.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
Yeah,
because
with
there's the spoilers. Okay.
Oh
No,
yeah,
no.
just go check
Just
out
go.
Nathan Fans live act, because it's I've seriously considered doing that.
I've already figured out we've messed up. This should have been the top 10 bottle production. Right? This is what this should have been, right?
So
So what have I used?
Yeah, what have you used?
So I think the one that I've used the most is a product called Toastmaster.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm blanking on Toastmaster. Which one is Toastmaster?
Toastmaster is a champagne glass production.
Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about.
And it's definitely been, for me, the most consistent, like, as far as a way to conceal the load. This has been the one that's worked the best for me. It's a champagne glass, and it uses liquid, right? So you can come out and actually produce a champagne glass. And I think for the events that I've worked, this has probably been the one that fits me the best.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, you use a gimmick champagne bottle and then follow it with Toastmaster.
I have in the past, but no. So the routine that I use the most, probably with this, is John Lovick. John Lovick's bottle production, which is it's in his fantastic book.
Handsome Jack, right?
Yeah, Handsome Jack, like the
super good book.
artful divertisements and performance pieces of Handsome Jack. I don't know.
It's an amazing.
Killer book.
It's an amazing book, because everyone should read it, because it's written by Handsome Jack, but it's also got John Lovick. It's written by John Lovick, but then Handsome Jack has got the footnotes, and it's a great book of magic, a great book of theory, and also a super entertaining read.
And if we're on the subject of openers and approachable material, that if you're new and you're trying to find stuff that you can do, like it's fun talking about this, because I've searched for this topic many times when I was first getting in. John Lovick is loaded with this type of material.
Yeah.
So look into his stuff. But his bottle production actually came. He would have a closed jacket, and he would produce I forget the name of the style of glass, but it would have liquid in it. So I'm doing his using the structure of his routine, but also using this other
Toastmaster
this
gimmick,
other
yeah.
gimmick. The other one that I've used a lot when I need to produce a full bottle, and this one's just, I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it. It's David Penn's bottle production.
Oh yeah.
And it's like the type of thing I wish we could talk about what it actually is right now, because it's
Yeah.
just unique in the world.
I'm doing a top 10. It's actually in my top 10. There's a metal bending section that I'm going to reference David Penn because he's just a clever guy.
Got a lot
He's
of
got
good
some
stuff.
really, really good stuff.
Yeah, so his bottle production I actually use that. Sometimes I'll produce the champagne glass, and so there's a joke, and then you get the champagne glass, which is really good, and then I'll have a third production or a third moment sometimes where the bottle will come out, or I used to produce a bouquet of flowers for a long time as well.
Well,
So,
bottle
yeah.
productions are super strong
Yeah.
and really great, and there is just a plethora of different ones.
So many.
But let's move in. We're getting into the top half here.
We are.
Hit me with number 5.